So we are yet to apply some good scrolling effect for this. You can see that it's stopping at the middle of these sections. That I will show you later how to fix that. For the time being, I will create another folder named img for images and copy the logo image here. This is the logo I have. You can use whatever logo you have at your hand. And so inside the home section, that is the clay color, we will be dividing this into two parts, one for the menu and one for the right side logo plus the tagline and the name. For that I will use a class name called home content. So here you can see that I have divided it into two divisions. So for the menu we will use 4 blocks. So I will just use class name of blocks. Inside these we will be placing all the 4 icons on the left. So you can see that it's not displaying anything because we haven't placed anything. So for this we will be using font awesome, which we have downloaded in the beginning of this video. So I will just search for some of the icons here. You can just follow what I am searching. So you just need to go to the page and copy the HTML which is given here. It uses the I tag, so you just need to copy this and place it wherever you need the logo to appear. So this is the process. I will repeat the process for all the icons. I will speed this up so that it doesn't take much of your time. And for the last contact us section, I will use this phone logo. So we have placed all the 4 logos and you can see that it's on the top left corner. It's not aligned properly because we didn't define anything for the menu class, nor the blocks which we have defined here inside the menu section. So we will also define another class for the icons. So I will name it our FA, that is our font awesome. And now let's style these menus and the blocks. First let's style our font awesome. I will give a minimum width of 80 pixels and a font size of 40 pixels. Remember, this is I'm giving the font size because this is actually a font, not an image. That's why it's called font awesome. And we can define whatever color we need here, so it will automatically reflect on the icon. So now let's check in the browser and it will turn to red and the size of the icons have been increased. Now the only part which is remaining is to align it properly on the left and also give some background color to the menu class. So let's style these blocks and the menu. Here I will define one more class for the home because we need to identify the home section. You can do it in any other way if you want to, but here I am just defining one more class and making it display flex. That's because I want to use the advantages of flex when it comes to aligning inside child elements. So now we have the child elements as menu and home content. So we will first style the menu section. I will give a background color. Here I will be using the transparency element which is possible while giving background color. So I will be using RGBA. RGB color codes are available in Photoshop. You can check that. This is the color code for black, and I am using opacity of 0 here. That's the last one in this 4 row. I am giving a minimum width of 100 pixels. Now if you check, it will be it doesn't show anything because we have used the opacity of 0 in the end. If we turn that to 1, it will become completely black, but we don't need it black. We need kind of something in the middle. So let's try 0.5. Now we are giving a color of black and making it opaque, sorry, not opaque but transparent. And here I am giving a value of 0.3 and it matches with our design, so that's perfect. Now the only thing which has remained is to align the icons properly. Before that, let's style our home content section on the right. Here you can see that the left portion, that is the menu section on the left, is static in nature. That's it doesn't change according to the width of the window. So to make it reflect that change, we will be displaying a flex value of 1 here. It's actually flex grow 1, and here for the home content it will be flex 8. So what will happen is when I reduce the size, you can see that the menu portion is resizing automatically to fit the it's something like 1:8. So now let's arrange these icons in the center horizontally as well as vertically. And to do that, we will it's very easy. I have mentioned this several times in my past tutorials. Just convert this into display flex for the menu class, and inside the child class, now you can see that as soon as I made it display flex, it has flex direction of row by default. So I will change the flex direction to column first, and now it will show in a column format, and now it has lined up one above the other. Now we just need to give proper spacing, or in short we can just center it vertically and horizontally. And for that we will use the blocks, which is the child element of the menu class. So we have already defined display flex for the parent class, that's menu. So for the child class, that is blocks, we will just use margin auto. And now check in the browser. It has aligned all well properly. That's it's centered horizontally as well as vertically. Now if I remove just margin auto, see what happens. It just goes to the left section. So that's the magic of margin auto, which is very useful while designing any layout using display flex. So now let's complete this section, that is on the right side. We will just use the image we have pasted in the image folder, that is abstract.png. I will give its width and height dimensions. If I remember correctly, it's 200 width and the height is 170. If you want to check the width and height of the logo you are using, you can just check it out in the info section, or you can just open the image in Photoshop and go to image size and check it. For example, here I will just show you that the sizes are 200 into 170 pixels. Now it's a good practice to define the width and height, because that will help the browser render it correctly in all kinds of browsers. And here I will define the title in h2 tag, and for the tagline I will use the paragraph tag with a class of content home. I will just type in what we have defined it in the design. So now we didn't style it, we have just included this. So let's check it out in the browser. You can see that the logo is fine, but the text we need to style it. So for styling the text, actually I had used Google Fonts. So if you don't know about Google Fonts, just search in Google and you will find it at fonts.google.com. You can search for any kind of Google fonts here. For the purpose of this tutorial, I will be using these three fonts. You can just pause the video and copy it out if you want to use the same font. This Open Sans font is quite popular. So to include this, you have to copy this import URL in the CSS section at the top. So I will just paste it here at the top, and you can include the font family property wherever you need to use it. So in this case, I will define a class for the h2 tag. I will name it title home. So let's move to title home, and I will create one more class that is content home. I have pasted the style here. So let's define a size and color. For this I will give something which is close to white. Now let's check it in the browser, and it's perfect. So we are yet to center it in this right section. That we will do in the end. For the time being, we will just style the tagline which is below the title. For this we will be using this cursive font. So I have used the Google font name Damien. I don't know how it's pronounced, but I will just reduce. I have reduced the font size for this. So now let's check it in the browser. You can see that it's quite thick. The font, some of the fonts are like this only. You can just check whether you can fix it with font weight of 100. If it doesn't get fixed, there is another option which very few people know about. You can use this property in CSS, that is font smoothing, and use a value of anti-aliased, as well as you can also for Mozilla Firefox or Opera, you can use the value of gray scale. So this is the option which is available. Now you can see how this thickness changes to something which is clearer and lighter, thinner. You can say it as thinner, but overall it looks good. Now if you remember, we have already converted the home class into a display flex. So here home content is already a child element. So we will first define text align as center. That will center this horizontally, and to center it vertically, what we need to do is just use margin auto, and it will automatically center it in the section vertically as well as horizontally. So that's how we fix things in HTML and CSS, and we have completed the home section.